I'm Aaron Mate, sitting in for Jimmy Dore, here with Misha Pollan and Americans comedian Kurt Metzger. And check out what's going on with Facebook. This is from Michael Schellenberger. There is a big debate over who blew up the Nordstream pipeline. Instead of allowing the debate, Facebook has decided to take a side. It is censoring Pulitzer-winning journalist Seymour Hersh. And instead of explaining, Facebook sends readers to an article in Norwegian. Watch. So this is an example of what happens when you try to search for Seymour Hersh's reporting on the Nord Stream pipelines, which he says the U.S. blew up. And he wrote a very detailed piece detailing how. This is what happens. So there's the search. And so he's trying to post the Seymour Hersh article asking, we heard a rumor that Facebook censored this. And look. Wow. False information checked by independent fact checkers. So putting in the link to Seymour Hersh's article yields that. False information. Independent fact checkers say this information has no basis in fact.
Wait, and then it's not even in English?
Right. Well, and then then the fact check goes to this foreign site right here. You have to translate it, and it says more mistakes about Norwegian interference in the Nord Stream sabotage. So this is just some Norwegian article randomly trying to criticize Seymour Hersh, which of course does not debunk him at all. But that's what Facebook is doing. So you cannot access Hersh's article. Instead, it takes you to a Norwegian article, which you have to translate, which of course does not refute Hersh.
Who is still on Facebook in this day and age?
Great question. Great question. And here's more from Michael Schellenberger. Maybe Hersh is wrong, and maybe he's right. Whatever the cause, it's not up to Facebook to decide. We don't think we can make ourselves the arbiter of the truth, said Facebook's Sheryl Sandberg once.
The lean-in chick? Oh, great.
Yet that's what they're doing. The American people have given Facebook broad liability protections under Section 230 that other media companies don't get. And yet Facebook is acting like a media company, not a platform. Why then is it getting Section 230 protection? And breaking, after a stir was raised, there was a bit of a shift from Facebook. It says, breaking, Facebook has changed its censorship of Seymour Hersh's article, removing the black box and changing the warning from false information to partly false information.
Oh, so Norway gets to say we're not part of the Norway part of the story. Like, if China was doing this would be a big uproar that China can censor anything that reflect, because Norway helped with that because it is what happened. Seymour Hersh is right.
I mean, forget the fact that Seymour Hersh is the most accomplished U.S. journalist of all time and has broken story after story of huge importance. Forget that. I mean, even if he weren't, outright censoring a story on such a consequential issue is just, I mean,
it makes you look guilty, like you're covering up.
Of course. And this is why, I mean, we've had stories in the New York Times recently saying that, you know what, maybe it's not in anybody's interest if we go and try to find out what happened here. Let's just forget about it.
Let's not relitigate.
Let's not relitigate. Exactly. And they've done, similar to how they've done this before with other stories, like the Gray Zones had stories censored. I had a story censored once on Facebook when in the title, it was called Al-Qaeda is on our side, how the Obama administration sided with Al-Qaeda in Syria. And that line there, Al-Qaeda is on our side, that wasn't my line. That was Jake Sullivan's line, who's now the National Security Advisor. And that was in an email he wrote. So just for me quoting Jake Sullivan, a senior Biden official, my article got censored. And they also changed their policy so that they once limited content about the Azov battalion in Ukraine because they're a neo-Nazi. But after Russia invaded, they changed that policy to allow people to promote the Azov battalion.
I love, my favorite thing of Ukraine is for the amount of covering, especially covering up the Nazi thing, it constantly slips through. Like, these are all like, I'm sure Mark Hamill didn't want to bring out the Nazi. It's like there's got to be so much of it. It slips through the cracks of the people trying to cover up for them.
We're telling jokes in Nashville, Honolulu, Los Angeles, Northampton, Massachusetts, Syracuse, Cohoes, New York, Hartford, Connecticut, Baltimore, Chicago, Rosemont, San Diego, and more. Go to jimmydore.com to get a link for all those tickets. Plus, you can watch my new special, COVID Lies Are Funny.